have I understood now that Tony Khan has done an interview where he's just saying the ratings are great and everything's great in TNA television land?
Oh, not in
Again?
TNA. I don't think he's talking about TNA.
Or now in AEW.
That would be
I'm
news
sorry,
version.
I can't tell one vanity project from another. I'm sorry.
Apparently, Tony Khan, I have video here, in an AEW hat, sunglasses, is in Cannes for the Cannes Film Festival.
I thought you said he was in the can.
Is this the Cannes Film Festival or something else? There's something going on in Cannes right now, and Tony Khan, of course.
Do you have Tony Khan in the can? Well, let him out.
Well, Tony Khan's there, and the question of the viewership came up, and I will say, and I've said this before, we've heard from a couple of TV executives who have both completely shot down the idea they had 500,000 streaming viewers for every episode of Dynamite. We've heard from people within wrestling, same thing, shoot it down. I know some people who got in touch with me from the entertainment industry, they shot it down. And then there was a report the other day from one of the wrestling reporters I saw, I forget who, and I apologize. Same thing. I think the quote was, if they were doing that amount of viewers, you'd be seeing executives doing backflips.
Yeah.
So,
well, and that's the thing. It doesn't make any sense to begin with because they went on Netflix without losing. Really, they were already on the downhill rating slide. They've lost some people since then, but it's kind of stabilized. But they were already losing viewers. They didn't lose any appreciable amount of viewers with the Netflix switch. So suddenly, 500,000 people, as many as are watching on television, and now just decided to watch this brand new program that doesn't even get promoted by its platform.
And on that topic, we'll see where we are at the end of the program. As of now, due to the Juneteenth national holiday, we do not have ratings for AEW Dynamite because this is an interesting episode to see what the ratings are going to be for this one.
Boy, howdy.
Let's go to this audio now, Jim. Tony Khan and Cannes talking to Yahoo Finance.
Tony Khan in the can.
It feels like 2025 is, in a lot of ways, the best year we've had. I mean, we're having a great...
Well, how big is the biz? How many sales do you bring in? I mean, is it making money? Like,
Guys, we're doing fantastic. This was a huge year for us. We grew the business so much with the simulcast.
Gotcha.
We brought in new audience with Max and streaming, but also we've been able to grow our cable audience year over year. Frankly, that cable and satellite...
Let me stop it right there.
Wait, what?
There's a bunch and there's more.
Well, there was some statements there that might take a little while to verify, but I think we can stop on that one right off the bat. It's demonstrably, factually, statistically correct that their viewership on cable has declined year over year. Is it not? By everybody that's done a report on that type of thing, have they all been doing flawed work?
Yeah, WrestleNomics puts out reports. There's an annual one, but they put out reports all the time about the numbers and the trends. And at best, you could say they've held steady for a bit. But year over year, there's no way they're up. And not even no way, they aren't up. And then in terms of the key demo, I think it's the same thing. That's down year over year. So I'm not sure exactly what he's saying. And in terms of the simulcast, adding new people, that remains to be seen. And how many?
Well, but okay, but if it added a couple of 100,000 new people, that would only kind of offset the couple 100,000 they've lost since this time a couple of years ago. But do you think that Tony doesn't mean to just make incorrect and lying statements, but that he's just so accustomed to saying everything's great and everything's up that it's muscle memory and he doesn't think about what he's blurting out?
Well, the other thing is, it is important to try to posture and present everything in a positive way. Not just for wrestling fans, but he's over there in Cannes for a reason, for the business community, for people.
Yeah, but that's why I was saying he was doing such a good job of saying stuff that you couldn't just Google and find out was bullshit until he got there. And then he's making broad declarative statements that are completely easily disprovable. So he shot himself in the foot, didn't he?
Well, by the way, I don't even know who this interviewer was. What was the question? What kind of you got like sales money? You got money?
Are you taking in money? Are you stealing anything? Are you taking how much you got cash in your pocket right now? Yeah, he was a real professional.
But it's a benefit to someone like Tony, who's a distant number 2, in terms of how you could publicly present things, again, to the business community beyond wrestling fans and everything that gets on social media, when you know you have a streaming partner that isn't releasing the numbers. It's like, are you in the CIA? Well, they won't say yes, they won't say no. He could say anything. And he doesn't have to give a number. He could just shake his head and go, that's kind of what I've heard, which is what he's done in the past. And he gets away with it. But let's go back to the Can Lion, Tony Khan.
Satellite and
Growth and cable. Who's doing that?
Well, honestly, us, because a lot of people thought when you start simulcasting AEW on Wednesday nights and Saturday nights, oh, okay, well, a lot of people, they're still going to watch the show, but people are going to migrate to streaming. Well, actually, our cable audience, when we started simulcasting, went up, and we have a great audience on Max streaming every week, too. So we have been able to do that, and we've really maintained and grown a great audience over the years. AEW... we say it's where the best wrestle, and I really believe that's true. I think we have the best roster of wrestlers in the world. It feels like 2020.
And that's where it cuts off and it loops back.
Yeah, he does good with the hype when he speaks in generics, and they're not going to hold his feet to the fire of, well, is it really great? Is it only semi-great? That type of thing. But when he gives statistics that you can look up and it ain't that way, then... But again, he's hoping that this is not a wrestling press question, and he's just hoping people are going to just believe that and not check.
Again, he looks like a maniac. He's Tony Khan. That's one of the things that kind of goes against him. But like you said, it's an interview where clearly he's just allowed to say whatever he wants, and he's not going to be called or checked on anything. And he's taking advantage of that, and you can't blame him. Again, he's over in Cannes for a reason. But a company of growth, I mean, I don't... having Wembley 1 year skews things for like 1 year, but if you look at everything else, again, the best thing you could say maybe about this year is holding steady. Not talking about the cable deal or anything, just talking about the television ratings and the arena shows and everything else.
Well, where are they at? Time flies. Where are they at right now in terms of when did they consistently drop below 700,000 people and stay there? Because remember, we did the rating segment for years, and they were at 800 and 700 and something thousand. But how long has it been since they dropped below that precipice?
It's been a while. Again, I don't have the exact number. I want to say it was a little less than a year ago they had gotten into the 500s. Remember that?
Well, yeah, they've been in the 500s, but they bounce back and forth between high fives and low sixes, and then every once in a while they'll do something a little bit better, like the, cage match thing they did, or they'll do something a little bit worse because something else is on TV. But that's, it's down year over year. I'm sorry. It was down year over year before they were streaming anything except pissing out their own window.
Yeah, and then, I don't know if you saw, but Dave Meltzer responded to the response that everyone was having to this interview. And again...
Oh, I'm sure he did.
It's not just us. Other people pay attention to the numbers. Other people talk about the viewership. Other people, more vociferous than us, have called out the bullshit of the streaming numbers, which Dave was really the one to go out there and champion and get behind, even though it doesn't make any sense that no one you talk to that works in the industry believes it. But when he got called out for it, Dave started jumping in on Twitter, and then he started calling other people grifters for lying to naive fans and trying to make money from naive fans because he's the only one who tells the truth. And if you're upset about any of this stuff with AEW now, you should have gone back and read the stuff that he was writing about them 5 years ago. He told you everything that was going to happen, and you should have just listened to him.
Well, and also, for heaven's sake, the grifting fans thing, I can't stomach anyone grifting fans, especially naive fans. Dave goes right straight for the stupid ones. He doesn't worry about the naive fans. Well, I'm glad that Tony is, getting a can full of press over there.
Listen to this. Someone here, a user named Useless Positivity, quoted back Dave saying, "I don't defend anyone, least of all Tony Khan, unless it's something factually incorrect." And then the person wrote, "Freudian slip, you'll only defend Tony when he lies." And then Dave responded, Sorry Tony Khan ruined your life by creating a non-WWE company and not failing like you spent 6 years insisting. I don't even know who this guy is.
I was about to say, is this just some random fan that Dave, again, you've insulted my boyfriend, a type of tone to it? Why does he jumps into conversations that he's not referenced in or involved in?
If you had listened to me, you'd have read my article in November 2019 looking at the cable landscape in AEW, and you'd have at least not gone in denial for so long or be mad every week.
About and what is the fellow denying and is mad about?
Because what Dave wrote made it sound like he defends Tony when he lied. Again, Dave...
He proved it every time somebody said goddamn Tony Khan, he bakes a shitty meatloaf. Meltzer's, I've been to his house. His meatloaf is fantastic. I've never had meatloaf that good. It's just, it's bizarre.
Well, here's another one. Again, someone, I don't have the original tweet here, Jeff H. on Twitter was responding to something Dave wrote. And I'm assuming it's about Tony. He can't book. He's had top stars and booked them into irrelevance. He can't produce a show to fit the time allotted. He can't get anyone over. He is running AEW into the ground, and all you do is defend him. I'm paying attention to 2025, and the Tony Storm gimmick is horrible. Dave wrote, I cover wrestling facts and analyze them. I'm sorry when it hurts people. When AEW was down, I said it was and why. When it was up, I said it is and why. Same with every company. I don't defend anyone, least of all him, unless it's something factually incorrect. Not being able to fit into time slot is factually incorrect. Those overruns are approved ahead of time. Running the business into the ground is also incorrect. Well, again, we don't want to make this too much about Dave. There is a segment there sometime in the future. Is there anyone anywhere near wrestling who has destroyed their own reputation through their own behavior on social media more in the last 6 years than Dave Meltzer? It's not even just about AEW or Tony Khan. It's the behavior. It's all the tweets. It's the talking down to people.
Just sounding like a dick.
The lack of self-awareness of realizing you're not smart just because you constantly tell people you're smart, you study, and you know all these things. I don't know if I've ever seen... There are very few people, like I said, in pro wrestling, not just journalists, who have taken themselves down to the point he has. And again, I got to think it's affected their business because we've heard from a lot of former Observer readers and website subscribers. So again, more about that in the future. But
now that's not fair to say because there's a lot fewer wrestling fans in general than there used to be, thanks to productions like AEW and the like. People have just said, fuck it, we'll go watch fucking cribbage.
Yeah, well, that's the Tony Khan update, according to him, and we don't have numbers. That may be the closest thing we get to ratings. We'll see how things go. But according to him,
I can tell you, they're great.
Everything is great, and the streaming has only increased the audience. That's up year over year on cable.
Yeah, well, I've got to go right now and emit a stream, so we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back.